Welcome back to Afternoon Live. Just because you are lacking in yard space doesn't mean you can't grow veggies and herbs right at home. Here to show us how to container garden, we welcome back Farm Manager John Peterson. It's so nice to see you.
Nice to see you also.
We can do this. We can container garden at home.
Absolutely, and there's so many options for you.
What are some of the best things to think about planting that we're hopefully will be successful with?
Definitely. So I love to think about planting things like lettuce or radishes in something like a crate.
Okay.
So they can grow. They don't have super deep root systems, so it's a great option for that. Also, things like peppers and tomatoes are wonderful. The one thing that I want to point out to people is to think about using a large pot, particularly for tomatoes. Sometimes people don't think about how deep the root systems would go in the ground, and so you want to use a really large pot for tomato plants.
Okay, so we do need a little space for some of these.
Absolutely, definitely.
You want to make sure they have room to grow underneath too. So yeah, we're really talking about what types of container could work best depending on what you're after.
Definitely. And the other thing to think about is making sure that they're well watered. They dry out a lot faster than a plant that's in the ground.
Okay.
So especially on those really hot days that we get in the summertime,
Sure.
sometimes you might need to water it in the morning and at night so that it stays really hydrated.
Okay. So what about, how would you know, I guess, what to go for a crate versus one of these more traditional container shapes?
Yeah, if you just think about how long the plant's going to grow. A lettuce is just going to be growing for a couple months.
Oh, okay.
And you're going to harvest it, where the tomato you want to be growing all season long. And so it's going to grow a much bigger root system. So you want a bigger container for things like that.
That makes sense. What types of soils should we be thinking about?
Yeah, definitely just an organic potting soil. And then also to remember that the plant is using a lot of that nutrition while it's growing. And so a thing like a tomato, you might want to supplement with some liquid, some kind of organic liquid fertilizer a couple times throughout the growing season.
Would other types of fruits or berries be able to thrive in a
container?
Definitely.
So there's lots of things you can grow in a container, and I brought a few examples. So I like to think about things like herbs. So this is thyme, which is really great. You can have it in your backyard or in your porch. You just go cut it. Other things to think about are things that maybe spread really aggressively, like mint, or this is lemon balm. So if you plant it in your garden, it can sometimes take over a space. So growing it in a pot is a great way to manage it so it doesn't spread. Other things, maybe like a drought-tolerant shrub or thing that maybe in the heavy clay, it's going to rot. And so keeping it in a container is a great way to go. Or things that you want to move inside, like an aloe plant. You can pick a beautiful container and you can move it inside in the winter so that it lives, and then you can move it outside in the summertime. And just basic landscaping plants are also another thing you can do to spruce up your home using container gardening.
What a great idea. Now, in terms of seasonally where we're at right now, if we haven't started yet, are there things that we would still have time to get going?
It seems like it's late in the season because we had that fun week of sun. But it's
spring,
exactly. You still have plenty of time. Actually, we're really kind of right on time for last frost right in the mid of April. So the nurseries are really starting to set out a lot of their summer vegetables right now, tomatoes and peppers and things like that.
Well, and then in terms of, like you mentioned a little bit about watering earlier, but as general rules, are there things that we should keep in mind?
Yeah, generally I would water every day that it's sunny and dry, and then keep an eye on it during the rainy season.
And then how do you know, I guess depending on what plant you have, if it's going to come back again, if you need to replant? Every situation would be different, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's annuals and perennials. So, you know, most of the vegetables are annual, so you'll replant those every year. And then a lot of these things, a lot of the herbs and landscape plants are perennials, and that's something fun that you can just plant the one time and keep it fertilized and happy, and you have it for a long time in the container.
So say you've gone to a nursery or a plant store and you've brought home a little herb in a container. How would you go about re-nesting it at home so it's going to live a nice long life?
Right, so if you're going to grow something like this, you just kind of want to plant it up in the kind of next biggest size. And so you're just going to gently maybe squeeze it out. Make sure it's nice and wet in the pot when you do that so that all the roots stay together. And then you're just going to put it in the new container, gently loosen the roots with some fresh potting soil.
And then in terms of where to situate things, they need sunshine. How much, not too much? How do you do that math?
Definitely pay attention to any information that comes with the plant. And then Google is also a great resource.
I know, right? Everything is going to be different. You can't just have one area with all different kinds of plants together.
Yeah, and the tomatoes want a lot longer, hotter sun than things like your lettuces that maybe want that morning sun, but they aren't really going to like the hot afternoon sun.
Could you ever put different plants together in one container if you know that they have similar characteristics?
Absolutely. Okay. That's a great way to do it also.
Okay. Rapid fire. That was a lot of questions. Okay, we can do that. This is so fun, but what a great idea to kick off gardening season. Maybe start something new if you don't have all that space in your yard.
Definitely. It's a great option for that.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Great to see you. We will have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.